Yeah. No, it'll get it.
It pops up and tells you that you're live streaming, but I guess it's not for the panel side. Yeah.
Our technology there. If
Oh.
you can't do it, it can't be done.
1 second, I might have to go grab the other camera. I thought for a short meeting it would be fine, but in lieu of belaboring it any longer, I can just cut the camera. Maybe.
Something good is not happening.
I'm gonna leave. Okay, maybe we're good. Live streaming is on. We are.
This will not be.
Sure will. We are officially live streaming.
Okay, I would like to call to order the meeting of the Children's Services Council of Leon County Executive Committee. I show the time as 12:06. And I think we can see the roll call, but I will ask Ms. McPhail to call roll.
Treasurer Mitchell,
Here.
Vice Chair Johnson,
Here.
Chair Jones. You have a quorum.
And Holly, we're unmuted, right?
We are.
Okay, just double check.
Okay, the next order of business would
Mr.
be.
Chair, I will move the agenda.
Thank you, Councilmember Mitchell. And I guess I am the second on that. And so there's been a first and a second, or a motion and a second on approval of the agenda. All in favor, indicate.
Aye.
Aye. And there are none opposed. Ms. McPhail, is there any general public comment?
There is no public comment.
Thank you. The next order of business is the nominating committee appointments. I'd like to turn that over to our executive director.
Yes,
Thank you.
Vice Chair. So per our bylaws, the chair of the council appoints the nominating committee members. He did indicate that he is prepared to do that, but unfortunately because of work, then he could not be here. It must be done in front of the full council. So we will just move this to the full council.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the governing council meeting agenda review for our meeting next week on June the 18th. Would you like to roll with that?
Absolutely. So if you turn the next page, you will see the draft agenda for next week's council meeting. That will be June 18th, 4 p.m. The protocol, call to order, all of the things under the consent agenda. We will have the minutes from the April 16 meeting, as well as the executive director's report. I do have an addition to the executive director's report, so we will make that addition, and it's the youth internship program. The general counsel will provide an update on the final judgment from Carpentry USA, as there was some legal action on that.
Yep.
And then we will have our committee reports, which will include the executive committee, the minutes from this meeting. That is when the chair will do the nominating committee appointments. We will have the strategic planning workshop report, which is in your packet. on page 13. And then, if all goes well, the final adoption of the strategic goals. Then under finance and budget, we'll have the minutes from the finance and budget committee meeting that will happen subsequent to this meeting. The financials through April, although I did indicate to Treasurer Mitchell that I just received the May financials. I reviewed those and had some adjustments. So during the finance and budget committee meeting, that committee can decide whether you want to go with April or go with May, if I can get those to you. And then we will also have the draft budget for discussion. The programming committee, under programming, Children's Home Society will present the FRC Community Engagement Report and Sustainability Plan that is included in this packet on page 27. I want to note that we have provided that form that was provided to us, and they still have the budget. Include that in the packet that will be sent to you tomorrow and posted to the website. And then the upcoming meetings and events are listed there. So that is the agenda for the council. And we are open to input so that we can.
Mr. Chair, can I just ask a quick question? On
Mr. Ricardo, please.
Yes. On the strategic plan, short is always good, but when it started longer and we shorten it, I want to make sure that this is nice and neat. It's basically a page, but there were some important things that were discussed as backup to this, and I want to make sure that is somewhere memorialized in this. And so are we going to get something more than, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because we could copies.
Oh, I know. I that's why I was like, well, where's?
So we'll put that on the back. We didn't want to, at you all's pleasure, take all the goals. Because I want to be clear that the goals that you vote on, we can make adjustments to the backup material ongoing, but we will provide that backup material to show your input.
There were two in particular, two goals that I want to, again, they weren't my goals, but I do want to make sure that they're reflected. I see that that homelessness is one of them. It's for Commissioner Cummings. And then which was the one for Austin?
Mental health or youth success.
Okay. Oh, and youth success. That's why I was thinking. I was looking for them both together, and I now understand.
Number 3.
With
Yes.
With the focus, we're looking at 10 to 17. Very good. Okay. That was it. I mean, those two.
Hold on, Vice Chair Johnson, there you go.
Okay.
Yes, so, to your point, Treasurer Mitchell, 3 was Councilmember Austin addition. And then if you look under family well-being, first page, 5, increase the number of families actively engaged. That was Councilmember O'Brien.
Yeah.
And then if you flip the page, you already noted the homeless.
And 25% was Mr. O'Brien's. Was that it? Why did I think it was significantly more? Maybe
25% was what we should know though. Now we can check with them.
because I thought it was.
Which one are you on?
We are on page 13, number 5.
Number 5?
Now, we did have significant discussion about capacity building.
Yes, I know, and that went up to 85%. But for some reason, because if you think about, this was how many people are walking into family resource centers to be served, right? I mean, that's the number that we want to increase. Increase the number of
It is.
families actively engaged.
But when we're talking active engagement, want to make sure that they're coming out better on the other side. To just measure people coming in the door, that's not giving the outcome. The outcome is them coming on the other side. So with this goal, in my estimation, our team needs to look at the Family Resource Center contract and what we have with them to ensure that when we are measuring this, we are measuring all of the outcomes that make this meaningful. It's not meaningful with just people coming in the door.
And this, I think, I remember, Mr. O'Brien, and I didn't stop him, but it's like, this, we spend the largest amount of money on this. And that's not really true. We spend the largest amount of money on our out of school, but as what seems like a point in the data, we do spend a lot on it. So I guess if he's good with this, I'm good with it. And understanding that the definition of actively engaged means something. And I get your point. You don't want to just.
The objectives that will, so
Right.
the backup you were talking about,
Yeah.
that's what we.
Okay. And I see the indicator, it is. The indicator is the number of families who demonstrate ongoing participation. That doesn't mean success with the Family Resource Center through repeat utilization. Doesn't mean success. It just means for some reason they're coming back. Well, I hope it was because they were having success. Reported by the center. So that seems to me to be more a number of visits rather than success. But if Mr. O'Brien is happy, I'm happy.
And I will say, I'm emphasizing success
I know you are.
because
Is that
outcomes, yeah, and I'm not saying this doesn't matter. But the good thing is, we're gonna meet every year, and if we need to augment, depending on what we're showing you guys,
You're right.
we can do.
That's a thing.
Any changes to the agenda or anything that you guys want to add?
So as part of this next meeting, this finance committee, we are going to begin talking about the millage rate process. And
You want to tell what we traditionally do?
well, yeah, I guess
So, I give it, the way we give it to you is current millage, rollback, current millage, increases. And then you all get to discuss what makes sense to you. And my goal is that you have discussion. We also provide the millage chart, how we do the millage estimation. So we provide you that, and it really is for you all to look at it. And
Holly, in the past, when we've done this, you have done, the property appraiser gives us, I think you're exactly, that's gonna be.
yeah, you'll have
right?
one next month,
Next
next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, so the property appraiser gives the June first valuation.
right.
Which is what that is.
And you compare June first of 2025 to what actually took place in October 2025.
I compared June first of 2026.
And then but from an historical perspective, in terms of accuracy, that's why I pointed to you, because I think you were the one who did that in the past. I just want to make sure that we have a historical look back in terms of the property appraisers accuracy of Yeah, and he's always been conservative, which is fine, but I think it's important for the council to understand that every decision, and, you know, yeah, it's sort of that year of the rollback where we, you know, roll back the rate and raise 600,000 more.
So I want to make sure, because we will have time in between this meeting. And I want to make sure we give you what we've done. So you're right. Second of all, we did provide a historic look. Last year, we just gave the year before, but we still have those calculations. And so we can give, well, now we don't have to give you an estimate. We can give you exactly what the estimate was, what came in. So we can give you that for the previous, how many years have we been on? The previous 40.
And I can hear, Holly, your voice talking about what, and I don't think it was last year, maybe a year before, but that's incredibly helpful, in terms of when people are about to make a decision on, taking money out of their neighbors' wallets, we have a real feel as to what we would raise based on, and with the understanding that you have to, you know, Michelle said, oh, that it's the whole 75% thing. Well, it's 75% not 10, because judge to raise the millage rate.
Oh, yes, it's 75%.
Right.
She can,
And maybe that's a quick question for the council, like, is it 75% of the total, even if she's not
I can answer
qualified
that
to vote?
it's
Yeah.
75% of the voting members. So for the millage rate, because she statutorily cannot vote, it's 75% of time. For the budget, it's majority.
And CPA is a 75% of the voting population who is present. So we have to get 75%
Of nine, whether nine or here or not. Quorum is a little,
Yeah.
quorum is
Yeah,
yeah,
listen,
no, it's 75% of,
So-
nine.
So that's 7 members.
The 7 members have
To vote in the affirmative if we want to increase.
It
Okay.
used to be percentage based. So if you were gonna increase it more than 10%, then so there were, and if you were taking it all the way to the top, that's unanimous. Now, you have to have 2/3 to increase it, the millage rate at all. But please understand, and it's proven that at our current millage rate, the estimate is that we would bring in about $413,000 more dollars at our current millage rate. So we have to advertise it. We say our current millage rate, we advertise it as an increase, and that's what we had to do all the years except for rollback. Rollback was the only year that we did not have to advertise a tax increase.
Which ironically, we raised 600,000 for.
But more money.
Yeah.
So I imagine y'all have pretty robust discussion at budget and finance.
Hey, I also, and I think at executive committee, it's appropriate to talk about this as it relates to the presentation that Michelle made. The Children's Services Council derives 100% of our income from tax dollars, which means that Children's Services Council has no position whatsoever on a political matter, which is a ballot initiative that we're voting for the voters. Individually, each one of us certainly can have our opinions, and that's what we voice privacy, the voting.
I just interject real quick. You also need to be careful with what's on Facebook. We are in the not Facebook, I'm sorry, social media. Or distribute, because as appointed members of this council, there are statutory guidelines, and I am in the process of getting those so that we can provide them to the council. Because much like elected officials have to be careful about what they post, we do as well. And so I'm working with the general counsel to get those. So I'm sorry.
No, that's
It
right.
was a perfect segue.
The second thing is that the Florida Association of Children's Council Trust derived its alliance, derives 100% of its funds from Children's Services Council and Trust, which means that it's 100%, which means the idea of advocating in any way, shape, or form is not appropriate at all. And nor is it appropriate really for any party to use government resources or to advocate for political decisions that would be made by the population. All sides. That's my position. So I want to make sure that we are very careful, and especially with your role in both Alliance and the Leon County CSC, that we are not in any way, shape, or form talking about how much money someone is going to raise to support or support the defeat of a ballot initiative. I think that's way out of line. We have to be so very careful, which was, I didn't want to like sort of spoil the mood in the room on Saturday morning, because I thought what Michelle was presenting was very helpful and informative, but I think we crossed a line when we start talking about how much money back and the League of Cities and others are out raising, because that's not part of the Children's Services Council. Again, it's 60% of the voters of the state of Florida decide that they want this sort of relief. We have to follow that. And we're a statutorily created body with 5 of the members being appointed by the governor. And I know what the will of the legislature is, and I know what the will of the governor is. Ultimately, it's the will of the voter that's going to determine, sort of where we find ourselves and where the county finds itself. Anyway, so I wanted to make that point. Again, not playing Debbie Downer at all. I just want to be cautious about things we do as a government entity that derives 100% of its proceeds from taxpayer dollars.
So if I'm taking that just a little bit step further, and I'll put this in a question, would it be appropriate for the Alliance to make factual statements about what different proposals could potentially have impact?
Yeah. That's why I thought.
But there's a bright line then to say, and as a result, we're for or against the ballot amendment. I think that's the bright line. Is that something that you believe as a council that we ought to take up the governing council meeting and make that a council recommendation back through our executive director to?
I like what SIGA is doing in terms of reaching out to the general counsel and sort of putting everyone on. I noticed that there were 6 of us in the room, but just to be careful, like.
Well, I get that. That's telling me not to post on social media,
Right.
that's something that would violate that. I'm looking specifically about any guardrails that as a council who's paying a membership fee for our council to participate in the alliance, that we're not in support of any positive or negative statements about Alan.
So may I address it? So of course, in my role as the ED, I also serve as chair of the board of directors
Right.
for that. If you want to do that, you can. What I will tell you is we are very clear on what the role is of FACT, and that is simply educating our publics that have children's services councils on the services we provide and the programming we provide and the role that we play. It is not, as I have clearly said, when I've been interviewed, we're not advocating for or against. But what we are doing is making sure you just understand what our role is. I too, of course, have gone on record as saying, of course, we know where need needs to be made. And so at this point, to your point, it's up to the voters to decide. And we just want to make sure they have the information they need to make that decision. That's it.
I'll say this also, because that's a good one.
Further point, very clear, no FACT money is going into any kind of campaign for or against. No.
When the executive director talks about a campaign, that is right at the line. And it's, again,
I understand.
You don't control.
I
I'm
understand.
pointing out that I wanted it because the audio of that meeting is on the record. I want to make sure that it's on the record. This Children's Services Council has nothing to do. We take no position. We wait until the voters decide and we govern ourselves accordingly. I do want to point out to the Children's Services Council of Leon County, and to anyone, I mean one or two, who are out there listening, I would remind them that it has been our attempt, and I think successful attempt, to limit the financial impact on the property owners in Leon County by keeping the millage rate where it is and meeting the needs that we have. And if there were others out there rolling rates back and keeping things at the same level, and realizing, and Leon County is a little bit different than South Florida, which is really where this is all coming from. I don't think there would be a need for this, but anyway, I applaud the efforts of this council to avoid negative impacts on property owners in Leon County who are assessed through a millage rate that we set, and I feel comfortable saying we're going to continue doing it.
I guess I will just tag on that before we go to the next agenda item. I'm sensitive about that to the extent where I feel like it would. I have seen the benefit of your alliance that we're a part of, and that the council has been supportive of our membership in. But this one is so significant that whether it's informally that the message goes back to the executive director, or whether it's by our council taking this matter up to make sure that the executive director is aware of the sensitivity of that from our perspective. It would be disadvantageous to what we're trying to accomplish here in Leon County for there to be any misstep in that at the alliance level.
And I'm also worried. I don't want our executive director, if anything should happen, because she happens to be chair, or that suddenly you get painted with a brush, and therefore the Children's Services Council in that county gets painted with a brush. It just, again, by putting it on the record, but I don't I know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 people out there who are watching, and it is their right to do so. And I thought this was the
I appreciate
right
it.
place to say it.
Thank you. So, the next item on the agenda is any other committee member comment. I will turn to my other committee member here.
I think I commented.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. McPhail, do I need to ask if there are any other general public comment? I do not. Okay.
Sure, I will move that we.
All right, you move and I'll second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned at 12:35 PM.